Live from downtown Bakersfield, 23 ABC News starts now.
The ball dropped, glasses of champagne were toasted, and millions rang in the new year across the globe. We'll show you how locals got ready for 2018.
Kern County will be well represented at this year's Tournament of Roses Parade. See where you'll be able to see a bloom of local faces. Good morning and thanks for tuning in to 23 ABC News at 5 a.m. I'm Veronica Acosta.
I'm Alex Matas, and a happy new year to you. Thanks so much for joining us this morning. Let's bring in Chief Meteorologist Elena Rose to tell us how is the weather treating us on this New Year's Day.
Nice. So nice. I mean, I know the air quality is a huge bummer, but sunny 60s is great.
Yeah, compared to what's happening across the country.
Yeah, they were talking about sub-freezing temperatures last night and no bathrooms in Times Square and all these terrible things. And I was home in my yoga pants with the windows open. It was so nice. Let's take a look outside. We're at 41 now for our new morning low. That's down 4 degrees from yesterday. We do have a little bit of humidity out there, but with the calm winds, I think we're still going to be fairly stagnant and have this bad air quality that's unhealthy for everyone sticking around for another couple days. Passing clouds, but no rain today. And you see we get up to 56 by 10:30. 60s this afternoon, about 10 degrees above average. As for the rest of the county, you're seeing those 40s up in the Kern River Valley, Tehachapi and Fraser Park. Your temperature readings are missing, but I believe you to be in the 30s right now.
Hundreds of thousands welcoming in a new year in frigid cold temperatures in Times Square, New York City there. Partygoers bundled up in extra layers, wearing warm hats and face masks. It was the second coldest New Year's Eve on record at just 9 degrees. And just before the ball dropped in Times Square, dozens gathered here in Bakersfield to ring in the new year.
Yep, that's right. 23 ABC's Scott Sheehan was at the Padre in downtown Bakersfield as locals gathered to say goodbye to 2017 and hello to 2018.
Happy New Year! Downtown Bakersfield is popping, waiting to ring in 2018.
We're just like bring in the new year and let 2018 come get us, you know? Have a great time.
A great New Year's. Out with the old, in with the new.
The Padre had 4 different areas to party. A DJ on one side, dueling pianos on the other, dinner in the back, and upstairs a live band.
Midnight we'll have toast in all the different venues. We'll have them downstairs, upstairs. Upstairs we'll have the ball being dropped on a huge screen on the top of the whole building.
Doors opened at 8 o'clock, giving all the New Year's Eve party goers 4 hours to prepare for the New Year's Eve big moment.
I'll probably kiss my girlfriend, hug my brothers or friends.
Midnight, we're gonna toast. We're going to have some fun, and maybe I'll meet my future husband.
And if one of your New Year's resolutions is to get in better shape, you might want to head out to Beach Park to get in a good bike ride this morning. Today, the Kern Wheelmen will be meeting at Beach Park as they get in their first bike ride of the new year. The ride will start at Beach Park, then head to the top of Round Mountain. The ride starts at 10 and runs until about 1 this afternoon.
And also today, local organizations will gather to help feed the homeless as they celebrate this new year. The Comprehensive Blood and Cancer Center, along with the Ravi and Naina Patel Foundation, will help feed the homeless, providing them with a hot meal. Vans will be picking up people from the Bakersfield Rescue Mission, the Bakersfield Homeless Center, and the Bethany Homeless Center. The meals are set to begin at 11 this morning. And if you want a rude awakening, you might want to head to the McCurtry Aquatic Center this morning to take part in the annual Polar Bear Plunge. Polar Bear Plunges will be taking place all around the country today, and here in Bakersfield, it will be no different. The pool will not be heated. That's right, it will not be heated, and you can expect the water to be below 50 degrees. It's open to anyone over the age of 7 as long as you're at least 4 feet tall. Cost is $5 to plunge. The plunging starts at 11 this morning.
And in less than 3 hours, you'll be able to watch a New Year's Day tradition that's been around for nearly 130 years, the annual Tournament of Roses Parade. ABC's Scott Sheehan had an opportunity to go to Pasadena to get a first-hand look at the impact Kern County is having on that parade.
44 floats will highlight the 2018 Rose Parade. But before they can drive through the streets of Pasadena, workers had to hand place every flower and seed.
It's always been something that we've wanted to do. but
we watch it on TV every year, but it's the first time we've been here.
This year's theme is making a difference, and the Donate Life Float team says this year's theme is a perfect fit for their float called the Gift of Time.
Because the gift of life gives you time to come back with the world, be healthy, be helpful, and be a part of the world. And it gives your family of the donors more time to know their loved one has lived on.
For some in Kern County, this year's float goes beyond the roses and is more a part of them.
For a number of years working for the city of Shafter on raising awareness, and then the opportunity to donate came up 6 months ago. I donated, and so now I'm taking the next step and helping decorate the float.
The centerpiece of the float is an Aztec sundial symbolizing our time. One of the faces on that sundial is Glenn Heinel, who died in March of 2016, and some of his organs were donated to give others more time to enjoy their life.
it's special. It's an honor that they're honoring us and picked us to come down here and honor our son for what he did.
And those working on the float to bring it to life say they have the same role in this world as those individual flowers on the float.
I'm just one of thousands and thousands of people who are involved in making a difference in everyone's lives and raising awareness so that people's lives can have more time on this earth and do good for others.
And the designer of the float told 23ABC they've used 6,000 roses and over 30,000 flowers in total. And don't forget, due to the Rose Parade, we have some programming changes to tell you about this morning. 23ABC will not have a newscast at 6 this morning. Instead, Good Morning America will air from 6 to 8, and starting at 8 o'clock, we'll have coverage of the Tournament of Roses Parade. Following the parade, starting at 10, we'll have coverage of the Citrus Bowl between Notre Dame and LSU. And because of the game, there will be no 11 a.m. newscast.
Well, so far it's been a mild winter, but that could mean bad news during the first snowpack survey of the year. The Department of Water Resources will head to the Sierras on Wednesday for the first snow survey of 2018. Wednesday's survey is just the first in a series of surveys set to take place now through the spring as officials work to determine runoff from mountains. Wednesday's survey is set to begin at 11 a.m. at the Phillips Station, about 90 miles east of Sacramento. And Elaine, I woke up this morning and there was no ice on my car, which for me was good news.
See, that's nice. When you don't have to deal with a frozen windshield, we're pretty thankful, but we really need more snow. You're going to see the dismal reports coming out of that Sierra Snowpack survey, especially here in the southern Sierra where we haven't had any good snow falling, and there's none in the forecast. A little bit of that pink stuff, that's a slushy mix up over northern Nevada. For us, zooming all the way into Bakersfield, you see that many of our temperatures are in those upper 30s and lower 40s. That's why we don't have to deal with any frost out there. We also have a range of 40s up into the Kern River Valley, 37 in the Walker Basin, and down into Tehachapi. I know your official reading at the airport is missing, but you have some 30s out there for many locations. 42 down here in Tehachapi Mountain Park. Same thing for Fraser Park. Well, your temperature reading is missing. You see down here in the Ventura County area, it's 31, Lockwood Valley 31, Pine Mountain Club Inn at 38, and 56 at the peak. So if you're traveling on those roadways, they're all dry, they're wide open. They should be fairly quiet because you'll have other travelers with you, but not many commuters. And this afternoon, we do have that terrible air quality and all that haze, mid to upper 60s here for the valley floor, upper 60s in Kernville, Isabella, mid 60s from Tehachapi down to Fraser Park, and some 70s popping up in the desert. Talk about some 70s here for Bakersfield coming up.
And it seems like it was just last month that we were talking about a supermoon. Well, if you missed that one, you can catch another one tonight. The first full moon of 2018 will take place tonight. A supermoon occurs when the moon becomes full on the same day that it reaches its perigee, the point in the moon's elliptical orbit when it's closest to Earth. Now, if you missed tonight's, another supermoon will take place on January 31st. According to NASA, that one will also feature a total lunar eclipse.
Pretty cool. All right, coming up on 23ABC News, some changes on the way for Raiders fans. We'll tell you who could be the next head coach.
And it was quite the year for athletics here in Kern County. 23ABC Sports Director Stephen Hicks takes a look back at some of the best of 2017.
Hey, good morning, Kern County. It is 5:11. You see this area in gold, just indicating that there's a little bit of fog forming along the Highway 43 corridor. Not a lot of moisture, so it's not thick, dense fog. Visibility should be fine. Heading up over the Grapevine, you see that there's some people leaving the valley. There's just one person coming down the grade here. As for Bakersfield, all of those highways running in the green. And if you're trying to fill up and save a couple pennies, here are the best gas prices I could find in town for you. It looks like $2.69 up in the northeast at the 76 Flower and Beale is the place to be.
All right, thank you, Elena. And the search officially on for a new head coach of the Raiders after the team announced it would be firing Jack Del Rio on Sunday. The announcement of the firing came minutes after the Raiders' 30-10 loss to the Chargers in Los Angeles. After going 12-4 last year, the Raiders were a favorite to challenge for a Super Bowl this year, but the team had a disappointing season, finishing with just 6 wins. Del Rio met with the media moments after he was fired.
Spoke with Mark Davis after the game. And Mark let me know that he's not going to be bringing me back. And so he told me, loved me and appreciated all that I did to kind of get this program going in the right direction, but that he felt the need to change. I told him how much I appreciated the opportunity he gave me.
Now speculation that former Raiders coach Jon Gruden will be the team's next coach. Gruden won a Super Bowl with the Buccaneers and has now been an analyst with ESPN for nearly 10 years.
And the NFL playoffs are now set, and 23 ABC will be bringing you one of those games Saturday. The Kansas City Chiefs will play host to the Tennessee Titans Saturday. Coverage of the game is set to begin at 1. Kickoff for the wild card game is set for 1:35 right here on 23 ABC. Well, it was quite the year for athletics in Kern County, whether it was taking hockey outside or taking Cal State Bakersfield to the Big Apple. Sports Director Stephen Hicks takes a look back at the biggest moments from 2017.
As we look back on another busy year of Bakersfield sports, we start with the story that started it all. And while the Condors are perhaps known for their teddy bear toss or their wacky promotions, this story was all about trying to deal with Mother Nature as they headed outside.
You can plan all you want for an outdoor game, but sometimes Mother Nature has the final say. The Condors making national news for playing through a rainstorm on a star-studded weekend that featured Luc Robitaille and the Great One himself.
Nobody probably ever thought that we'd play an outdoor game in Bakersfield in January 40 years ago, so this is a bonus.
Flash forward to March, and the Runners continued their recent string of success, bringing home another trophy here to CSUB. But regular season success aside, the Road Runners then became Road Warriors, going on a memorable postseason run that ultimately ended at Madison Square Garden in New York.
Bakersfield, they're doing it again!
After winning their first ever regular season title at the D1 level, CSUB headed to the National Invitation Tournament.
Since we're here, we might as well go after it.
The Runners made history, pulling off upset wins at Cal, Colorado State, and UT Arlington. Becoming the first 8 seed in the history of the NIT to make it to the Final Four at Madison Square Garden.
I think we're getting to the point where we can expect a great year every year.
But the basketball team wasn't the only one pulling off upsets. Despite entering as the 4 seed, the Runners caught fire en route to a WAC title in their second ever NCAA tournament appearance. But late November, the school making a move that will leave an imprint for years to come.
To be in the conference that we're a natural fit in is huge.
CSUB announcing the switch to the Big West Conference by the 2020 season, a league filled with primarily California schools. Teams' travel times and costs will significantly reduce and also allow the return of regional rivalries. This summer, no one could rival Derek Carr's paycheck. At the time, the Bakersfield Christian grad signed the biggest contract in NFL history, but the Raiders' season hasn't been able to live up to the preseason hype. The unveiling of the new renovations to the 94-year-old Griffith Field was one of the biggest local football stories until Burroughs hosted a section title game. The Burroughs, the only team in Kern County playing for a championship. So it's another year for the record books, filled with its share of tears, titles, and triumphs. All of it getting Kern County ready for sports in 2018. Stephen Hicks, 23 ABC Sports.
All right, I like that wrap up. I don't like these numbers though. Yesterday it was at 69 for the last day of December, the last day of the year, well above our average of 55, actually much closer to our record of 73 than our average. So it's been a warm couple days. We've been hazy and stagnant out there and also dangerously dry. Yesterday, obviously there was no rain. So for the month of December, we only had 400s. Season to date since October 1st, the start of the water year, just 700s. We should have had almost 2 inches by now. So just a sign of how dry it is. Our drought status now back to abnormally dry, the first ranking of drought here in California, and much of Southern California is already back to a moderate drought. There's no rain really coming through Northern California, just some flurries up there near Nevada now. Zooming in, we do have some fog and some haze here on the valley floor, sitting in the 40s for many places, but Delano 32, 38 in Pine Mountain Club, and some 30s down into our desert communities if you're headed that way. Later on this afternoon, we get to enjoy those 60s again with sunshine, just thin passing clouds. But with the stagnant conditions comes this terrible air quality, unhealthy for everybody for another day. So wood burning is prohibited while we try to spare our air. As we take a look at that disturbance moving over to northern Nevada, that kicks out of the way. Some passing clouds Tuesday, Wednesday. There's a system organizing just offshore and trying to move toward us. Now you see most of it's heading up to the north, but it will skirt by with some rain chances for our mountain locations late Wednesday into Thursday. But I think the valley here has been so dry and relatively warm for so long that we really get skipped. It's actually some tropical air moving in, so I think we'll be in the 70s, still hazy, passing clouds, but no rain. And then we have a couple disturbances lining up for the end of the week into the weekend and even early next week that could bring us very slight rain chances, a little bit of cooling, but you see for the next 10 days, we are still 10 degrees or about 5 to 10 degrees above average. So for the Kern River Valley, again, 10% late Wednesday into 20% Thursday morning, and then we'll see if we can pick up anything else out of the impulses moving on shore after that. Tehachapi, you'll have highs in the 60s for the next couple days as a result as well. Upper 50s Friday into this weekend. Fraser Park, much of the same.
All right, and coming up on 23 ABC News, if you want to take a bike ride under the moon, well, we have details on where you can meet up with other bike riders for that full moon ride.
And The Last Jedi is now first. We'll tell you the benchmark it surpassed at the box office this weekend. You're watching 23 ABC. Good morning, it's 5:21. This a live look from the Netherlands. A celebration underway there as residents prepare for their annual polar bear plunge. The tradition has been in place since 1965 and regularly brings out about 10,000 people to participate as they jump in those chilly waters. Well, if you don't feel like doing that, but you feel like going for a bike ride, you can do so under the stars. You'll have a chance to ride under the full moon tomorrow night. Bike Bakersfield is holding its first full moon bike ride of 2018. This one starting at Beach Park tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. The ride will head from Beach Park down to the marketplace. The ride is free and is open to all skill levels. And later this week, girls around town will have a chance to learn about maintaining their bikes. Bike Bakersfield holding what it's calling a Grease, Gears, and Girls. It's designed to teach girls how to fix flats, patch tires, and take care of their bikes. It runs from 6 to 8 Thursday at Bike Bakersfield's office on Chester Avenue. And even though the event is aimed for girls, it's open to everyone.
And if you got a puppy for Christmas, well, lucky you. You might want to consider having them spayed or neutered. This week's spay and neuter clinics will be held for residents in Wasco. Clinics will be held Thursday and Friday at the Wasco Veterans Hall on Poplar Avenue. Cost is $30 per dog. The cost covers spaying or neutering, a microchip, pain meds, and rabies vaccines. Each is scheduled to start at 7:30. Now to the box office, where Star Wars: The Last Jedi continues to dominate. Over the weekend, The Last Jedi passed Beauty and the Beast as the top grossing film in North America in 2017. Walt Disney Studios announced over the weekend that The Last Jedi would add more than $52 million to its total over the last 3 weeks. That puts it at just over $517 million globally. It's already topped the $1 billion mark. There's still much more to come in our next half hour. Coming up on 23 ABC, recreational marijuana is now legal in California. We'll tell you how many businesses are now going green in the Golden State.
And there's a new law in California that you might not know about. We'll tell you how it might be able to get you a free ride if you're out drinking. You're watching 23 ABC.
Live from downtown Bakersfield, 23 ABC News starts now.
It is a new year and Kern County celebrated it in style. We'll take a look at how some of you rang in 2018.
And what's New Year's Day without the Rose Parade? Well, we'll get you ready for the 129th annual event set to take place this morning in Pasadena.
Good morning, everyone, and thanks for staying with 23 ABC News at 5:30. I'm Alex Bontes.
And I'm Veronica Acosta. Now we have Chief Meteorologist Elena Rusk here with us this morning. Elena, it's not going to rain.
Not going to rain, no, which is such a bummer, but it's New Year's Day. We want to go play with all our new Christmas toys, right?
Yeah, it was a usually hot Saturday, and Sunday a little bit cooler, but still, for the new year.
To be running around in a t-shirt in winter, welcome to California.
Yeah.
I don't know, I like it.
See, I like it too. We've had some sunny 70s out there. Today we're talking sunny 60s, but the one big bummer about this is that it comes with the terrible air quality, and that's because we have sinking air. So it leaves us sunny and stable, but it also traps all the pollution, the smog, the smoke, everything down here where we breathe. So we're at 41 in Bakersfield for our morning low. That air quality unhealthy for everyone. Wood-burning completely prohibited today. And we're getting up to 66 on this New Year's Day, about 11 degrees above average. For our friends up in the mountains, you're seeing the mid to upper 60s there as well for the Kern River Valley, Tehachapi, and Fraser Park. I'll talk much more about what this first week of the new year holds coming up. But for now, if you're driving, maybe you're coming to work like us or you're road tripping, you're seeing just a little bit of fog there along the Highway 43 corridor, but the other major roadways are open.
All right, thank you, Elena. And it is officially 2018, and thousands around Kern County were out officially saying goodbye to 2017 and hello to a new year.
Yep, 23 ABC's Scott Sheehan was out with revelers and was there as the clock struck midnight, signaling the start of that new year.
3, 2, 1.
2018 roared into Bakersfield.
2018 is going to be my year, and I'm just waiting for it to arrive.
2018, I just got a new job, so hopefully that's going to take off and do well in that. Spend more time with family.
As the minutes of 2017 dwindled down, partiers reflected on the year that was.
2017 was a really great year. I turned 21, yay. And also I went to Davis for the first time. So I came from Bakersfield, went to Davis, and it was really great.
It was a long year, but we went through it, looking for the new year, all about positive energy and looking forward to successful and positive people and growing as a person.
At the Padre, they welcomed 2018, kissing their favorite people, and also looking towards a fresh start in the new year.
I want to do most of the same things I did this year, make some better decisions, and I'm going to have a better 2018.
Adventurous. I'm going to go to Hawaii, Mammoth, Havasu, travel the world.
They said bye-bye to 2017 and hello to 2018 while having a blast with their friends. In Bakersfield, Scott Sheehan, 23 ABC News.
And this was the scene as dozens showed up at Buck Owens Crystal Palace. The house was packed as people there rang in the new year with dinner, dancing, and live music from Johnny Owens and the Buck Fever Band.
It was also a busy weekend for Bakersfield police as they cracked down on drunk drivers. Now, according to Bakersfield police, between Saturday and Sunday, officers contacted 141 drivers throughout the city. Of those, 14 were arrested for driving under the influence. Now, police say 3 of those had previously been convicted of DUIs. And coming up later this morning, the 129th annual Tournament of Roses Parade. The theme for this year's Rose Parade is making a difference. And there's one float design that does just that. It's the Donate Life float. Reporter John Gregory talked to the volunteer float decorators about why this is so personal for them.
The spirit that comes with donation is a spirit that makes our city strong.
Inspiring words for volunteers working on an inspirational float. Many volunteers have a personal connection to the Donate Life float as it slowly comes to life.
Oh, it is going to be outstanding, incredible. It'll be breathtaking. We're going to be putting on the flowers, and today we have our dedication garden where people have dedicated individual roses in honor of their loved ones.
Tina's here in memory of her donor brother. Vivian and Larry are here to honor and remember their donor son. John was in his 20s when he died of an aneurysm.
John died when he was 22, 13 years ago, and he's touched 37 lives across the country. It's amazing. Our organization in Illinois sent us out in 2013, and I was a float rider, so that's an amazing experience, and we just kind of got hooked.
The centerpiece of the float is this giant Aztec calendar, and inside of it will go portraits of donors over the years. They call them fluorographs. And while donors will be remembered with fluorographs, those who've received life-saving transplants are also here, volunteering and honoring those donors.
So I'm so honored to be riding in this float, and because of this young girl, Kristen Teresa O'Hara, she gave me the greatest gift one could ever give themselves. I got a pancreas kidney now 10 years ago, taking me away from diabetes and a terrible life.
Michael will be riding in the float during the parade and doing his best to share the message about the gift of life.
It's going to be a beautiful day. The sun's going to be shining, I hope, and hopefully a lot of people will see this float and become donors themselves and help save a lot of lives.
In Pasadena, John Gregory, ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
This year, a fluorograph of Bakersfield native Glenn Hainold will be featured on the Donate Life float. Glenn died in 2016, but he was a registered donor, and his corneas and tissues were able to be donated to a handful of other individuals.
And over the last couple of days, thousands of spectators got up close and personal with the Rose Parade floats. Those touring the floats include locals as well as travelers across the country. Among those who traveled from across the country is the high school band from northeastern Alabama. The Albertville Aggies marching band will be representing Alabama while performing in the Rose Parade today. For most of them, this is their first time to California, and they say it's a huge thrill to be a part of the Rose Parade. And also touring the floats this weekend was Linda West Nickens. Nickens will be riding in one of the cars supporting the Rose Bowl game Hall of Fame inductees. Her father, Charles Fremont West, was the first black quarterback to play in the Rose Bowl game. West played for Washington and Jefferson in the 1922 Rose Bowl game against the University of California, Berkeley. She says she is proud to have an opportunity to sing her father's praises.
This was before Jackie Robinson. It was before Jesse Owens. So there just wasn't much, you know, for blacks to play. And he really felt like he helped his group, helped his race by what he did.
Also being inducted this year are former Texas head coach Mack Brown, former UCLA quarterback Cade McNown, and former Michigan defensive back Charles Woodson.
And even though we're just hours away from the Rose Parade kicking off, that doesn't mean workers aren't hurrying to get in those finishing touches. Nearly 1,000 people have been decorating the famous flower floats for their New Year's Day debut. Assembling the floats, designed using only flowers, requires a combined 80,000 hours of work, according to the parade's website. Some volunteers have been doing this for decades and know the ins and outs of decorating the floats.
Well, I've been doing this for 31 years, and I absolutely love it. It's something I plan my whole year around to make sure that I'm here for the Rose Parade and decorating the floats.
Parade organizers say every float has more than 200,000 blossoms on it. The float with the most blossoms has more than 250,000. And don't forget, due to the Rose Parade, we have some programming changes to tell you about this morning. 23 ABC will not have a newscast at 6 a.m. this morning. Instead, Good Morning America will be on air from 6 to 8. And starting at 8, we'll have coverage of the Tournament of Roses Parade. Following the parade, starting at 10, we'll have coverage of the Citrus Bowl between Notre Dame and LSU. Now, because of that game, there will be no 11 a.m. newscast.
The holiday lights at the California Living Museum are still up, but not for much longer. The annual display featuring 3 million lights will be open through Saturday. The event is in its 15th year and was voted one of the best events in the Bakersfield Californian poll. Gates open at 5 and close at 8:30 for ticket prices. And more information, just visit our website, turner23.com.
And with New Year's already here and the Christmas season well behind us, you might be wondering about that Christmas tree that's still set up in your living room. Well, good news for you, you might want to consider recycling it. The city of Bakersfield, along with Bakersfield College, is providing Christmas tree recycling. You can drop drop off your tree at any time between now and January 12th at the parking lot on the corner of Haley and University Avenue. You can also take your tree to the Kern County Fairgrounds. A drop-off site has been set up in the South Peace Street parking lot now until January 12th. And don't forget, if you have a full trash can or dumpster, Waste Management Services will not be operational today. As part of their holiday schedule, the county will not be sending trucks around town to pick up trash. The services are being pushed back a day, so if you normally have your trash picked up today, then it'll be picked up tomorrow. Normal services are set to resume next week.
And for residents in Tehachapi, Waste Management officials say there will be no trash pickup today as well. Pickup will be pushed back a day through this Saturday. Normal operations will resume after that. And with the new year come new laws throughout the country. Here in California, one of the most notable ones goes into effect is the legalization of recreational marijuana. According to the AP, more than 70 recreational marijuana shops have been licensed to start selling pot beginning today around California. Officials with the state's Bureau of Cannabis Control say the agency has been working through the weekend to process as many licenses as possible. Now, officials say so far there have been more than 300 licenses issued for marijuana distributors, retailers, and cultivators. And starting today, if you're out having drinks, a new law might help you get home safe for free. Assembly Bill 711 allows licensed alcohol sellers and manufacturers to offer discounted or free rides to drinkers. The bill allows businesses to offer free rides to, quote, for the purpose of furthering public safety. More than 40 other states around the country already have legalized such offers. Opponents, though, say they believe the law is encouraging people to drink more. The law was designed by Governor Jerry Brown back in September.
And once you get through the New Year holiday, you might want to consider doing your part to help save a life. Officials with Houchin Community Blood Bank say due to a rollover crash on Friday, much of their A negative and O negative blood supply is now low. Houchin is asking if you have these blood types to consider scheduling an appointment to make a donation. You can donate at either the Houchin locations on Truxton or Bolthouse Drive. And Elena, we're going to check in with you, see a quick check of our weather.
Pretty quiet, yeah, and we like that. We're not getting some early morning light just yet. We're at 41 here in Bakersfield, and you see some of this gray stuff. A little bit of that is cloud cover like you're seeing here near Malibu. A little bit of it is just some fog that's trying to form, but I think we're so dry that it's not dense fog. And look at later this afternoon, temperatures in those mid to upper 60s for most of the county. So if you're heading out to that polar bear plunge happening at McMurtry Aquatic Center, 57 at 11 a.m., 61 by noon. One of the more mild years we've had, but that's pretty chilly if you're jumping in the water. You can also bundle up and head over to Holiday Lights at Calm. It's one of their last couple days. It runs through January 6th. Gates open at 5:30 and it's at that cool 55 and then falling to the 40s. So make sure that the little ones have warm shoes, a hat, and gloves. And then also tonight you're going to hear a lot of people talking about the full moon. I was checking it out last night. I think the clouds will clear to give us that peak of the first supermoon of 2018. Now, a supermoon is when we have a full moon that's really close in its orbit to Earth. So it appears bigger and it's really much brighter. You're going to notice that. The cool thing is we're going to have a second supermoon later this month. It's also a blue moon because it's the second full moon of the month, and it will be a lunar eclipse. We're going to have Earth's shadow passing in front of that very bright full moon. So it will be a super blue moon eclipse coming up on the 31st of this month. You can read more about that on our website and geek out with me. Also find me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and we will enjoy the cycles of the lunar eclipse that's coming.
All right, thanks, Elena. Coming up on 23 ABC News, we're learning more about a deadly shooting involving Delano police officers. What officials are saying led to that deadly scene.
And a cashier at a local fast food restaurant robbed at gunpoint. She spoke to 23 ABC what she says went through her mind in the moments of the robbery.
5:43 the time now. This a live look from the Netherlands as a celebration underway there as residents prepare for their annual polar bear plunge. You can see there the floats passing by, people dressed up. This tradition has been in place since 1965 and regularly brings out about 10,000 people to participate, as they all willingly participate, Elena, to jump in those chilly waters. Or maybe there's somebody that pushes them and get in there.
Yeah, and I think a polar bear plunge is a good idea if it's like the 40s, 50s, 60s like we're having. I'm pretty sure all of the ones on the East Coast are canceled. Yeah, it would just be too dangerous. Speaking of canceled, it looks like the commute is just not happening today, and that's because so many people have the holiday off. We love that. All of our traffic cameras out there are very quiet, but do expect a lot of travelers out there with you. Even though the main commute may not be kicking off, you will have extra cars on the passes. These areas of Gold showing you just a little bit of patchy fog trying to form. We're not moist enough to get really dense fog, and here in Bakersfield, all of our highways are running in the green. So that's all thanks to that high pressure that's building. If you're here visiting and you need to head back to the airport, down in Los Angeles, up in San Francisco, even if you're going all the way to Vegas, those are all running great. And even with the terrible weather they have on the East Coast and those subarctic temperatures, you can see that there are no delays right now for our major airports.
2 men are behind bars this morning connected to an alleged carjacking. It happened late Sunday afternoon at Bell Terrace Park. According to Bakersfield police, a victim telling police that the suspects fired a gun and missed them but hit the driver's seat. The suspects, identified as 21-year-old Jose Padilla and 27-year-old George Alvarez, took off in a car but were later found on Lake Street. The two now facing carjacking, assault with a deadly weapon, and gang charges.
And a man who called in a bomb threat at a local motel in Northwest Bakersfield is set to appear in court on Wednesday. According to KCSO, 56-year-old Ronald Burt barricaded himself inside the Economy Inn on Knudsen Drive after calling in that threat. The call went out just before 2 Sunday afternoon and lasted about 3 hours. Burt surrendered peacefully after negotiations, but he now faces a charge of making a false bomb report.
2 Delano police officers are on administrative leave after they were involved in a deadly shooting over the weekend. According to Delano police, 2 officers responded to Norwalk Street just before 9 Sunday morning after reports of a suspicious vehicle in the area. Police officers say the officers approached the vehicle on foot. That's when the driver drove toward one of the officers. Officials say the officer feared for his life and fired his gun, hitting the driver. The driver died of his injuries. A passenger in the car ran off into a nearby home. After about an hour of negotiations, the passenger left the home and was taken into custody. The officers nor the victim have yet to be identified. The case has now been handed over to the Kern County District Attorney's Office to be investigated. In an interview with 23 ABC, we are hearing from a cashier at a Jack in the Box who was robbed at gunpoint over the weekend. According to Bakersfield police, just after 7 Saturday night, a man wearing a hoodie with his face covered held an employee at gunpoint and demanded money. The suspect, identified as Anthony Jones, got away on foot with about $500 and a customer's credit card. Well, later that night, during a traffic stop, police found Jones with a stolen gun. 23 ABC speaking to that cashier who was held at gunpoint.
My son's face, and I wasn't gonna see him no more. I seriously thought once I gave him the money, he was gonna shoot me.
Jones was arrested and now faces multiple charges, including possession of stolen property, robbery, and gang charges. Bakersfield police say the same Jack in the Box was robbed 2 months ago. It's not known if Jones is connected to that previous robbery.
Crackdowns on marijuana in California City continue as the police department shut down more illegal operations over the weekend. Police from Cal City, Arvin, and the California Department of Corrections helped in searches of 4 homes on Saturday that netted hundreds of illegal marijuana plants. 4 homes in the area of Norelia and Redwood were searched, with each house holding an estimated 500 to 700 plants. Police say the homes were bypassing electricity, creating fire hazards. 1 person is in custody, and just over a week ago, Cal City police seized nearly 600 plants from a home near that area. Now we have 23 ABC's chief meteorologist Elena Russ with a look at your full weather forecast.
Yeah, and it's pretty quiet out there. You see a lot of haze on the horizon, though. That's a sign of just how stagnant things are. As we take a look out at some freezing temperatures for Delano and down into many of our desert cities, it's actually quite mild in the mountains, in the 40s up in the Kern River Valley, the top of Breckenridge, and a lot of 40s down here in the South Valley as well. And that's because we are so steamy. stable. Yes, we have passing clouds from time to time for the next several days, but those clouds are working really hard to try and carry some moisture, and they're not really pushing a good amount of wind onshore to get this pollution, smog, smoke, all of it mixed together out of the way. So with that, the air quality is still unhealthy for everybody. Wood burning completely prohibited as we try to do anything we can to spare our air. That means ride sharing, taking it easy outside because you don't want to be overexerting your lungs in this bad air quality. Now there's some more cloud cover for tomorrow. Some rain chances on Wednesday. You see the system kind of falls apart by the time it gets to us. Most of it heading up to the north, but we will try to get some showers late Wednesday into early Thursday for our mountain locations. I think us here in the valley left pretty high and dry, and that's because there is some warm air coming on shore with this. I'm going to bump us up to the 70s for Wednesday, even heading into Thursday. Passing clouds, but still hazy. Not a strong breeze, not a cool down, and I think most of that rain trying to move on shore will evaporate. But we have a couple disturbances coming on shore for late this weekend and this weekend, even early next week. None of those rain chances for the valley above about 20%, and all of these temperatures still above average, but it's something. It's a change in the pattern, so we'll take it. Kern River Valley upper 60s today and tomorrow. There's that slight chance of rain late Wednesday into Thursday. We have to wait and see how things really develop for our mountain locations, but I'll keep you in the 60s for the next week. Tehachapi and Fraser Park, pretty similar, 60s through Thursday, and then upper 50s this weekend as we wait to see if we can get you a little bit of rain, but probably no snow. Temperatures are close and we'll watch it, but don't count on it.
All right, still to come on 23 ABC News. We'll get you ready for the 129th Tournament of Roses Parade coming up in about 2 hours.
It's a new year, and that means new babies. 23 ABC checked with local hospitals and found that there were at least 4 babies born in 2018. We spoke to officials at Delano Regional Medical Center, and they say a pair of twins was born in different years. The first was born just before midnight in 2017, and the second was born at 12:16 a.m. and is believed to be the first baby of 2018 in Kern County. There were also babies born at Bakersfield Memorial, Adventist Health, and Mercy Southwest.
And if your one New Year's resolution is to get in better shape, you might want to head out to Beach Park to get in a good bike ride this morning. Well, today the Kern Wheelmen will be meeting at Beach Park as they get in their first bike ride of the new year. The ride will start at Beach Park, then head to the top of Round Mountain. The ride starts at 10 and runs until about 1 o'clock this afternoon.
If you want a rude awakening, you might want to head to the McMurtry Aquatic Center this morning to take part in the annual Polar Bear Plunge. Polar Bear Plunges will be taking place all around the country today, and here in Bakersfield it will be no different. The pool will not be heated, and you can expect the water to be below 50 degrees. It's open to anyone over the age of 7 as long as you're 4 feet tall at least. The cost is $5 to plunge, and the plunging starts at 11 this morning. And even though we're just hours away from the Rose Parade kicking off, that doesn't mean workers weren't hurrying to get in those finishing touches. Nearly 1,000 people have been decorating the famous flower floats for their New Year's Day debut. Assembling the floats designed using only flowers requires a combined 80,000 hours of work, according to the parade's website. Parade organizers say every float has more than 200,000 blossoms on it. The float with the most blossoms has more than 250,000. And don't forget, due to the Rose Parade, we have some programming changes to tell you about this morning. 23 ABC will not have a newscast at 6 this morning. Instead, Good Morning America will be on air from 6 to 8. And starting at 8, we'll have coverage of the Tournament of Roses Parade. Following the parade, starting at 10, we'll have some coverage of the Citrus Bowl between Notre Dame and LSU. Because of that game, there will be no 11 a.m. newscast. And Elena, please tell us what it's going to look like. Hopefully warm. I'm hoping for warm.
Warm, relatively speaking. I think the 60s are still cool, especially if you're in the shade. Right now it's only 41, so you need a coat if you're heading out the door. 42, look at that warm up at this very moment. The air quality is very unhealthy for everyone, and that's why wood burning is completely prohibited. Another day of terrible air quality, so you just want to take it easy, enjoy that sunshine, these 60s that are really stretching across the entire county. Tehachapi getting a little bit more of a breeze than you've had the last couple days, about 10 to 20 miles an hour, but it's a dry breeze. There's not a lot of relief coming from this. and we're slowly climbing for the next couple days. Now, there's a disturbance moving towards central California late Wednesday into Thursday. I think it could bring some mountain showers, but you see, I'm not introducing any for us here in Bakersfield, and I think that's because we've been so dry and warm for so long, all of these temperatures about 10 to 15 degrees above average, that it's going to cause a lot of evaporation. But then we have a stronger cold front trying to move through, so see this dip in temperatures heading into the weekend. Still not the best rain chances, but several impulses are lined up back to back. So let's hope that we can get a little more moisture. At least we'll get a little bit of cooling, a little bit of better air quality, which will be nice. All of those temperatures for the next 10 days, well above average, but a couple times it gets to the low 60s.
A couple days, 2 days.
Yeah.
All right, that does it for us this morning, everyone. GMA is taking over here 6 to 8, and then Tournament of Roses starts at 8 a.m. Have a happy new year.